Welcome everyone. Today we'll be talking about 10 things to do in Oregon. Have you been there before? If not, we're here to guide you so you can leave the hassle of which places to go. Before I start the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel to remain updated on all the new videos we upload. I hope you enjoy the video and let's get started. Here are 10 things you should do in Oregon if you are going there. At number 10 is the Japanese Portland Garden, which is a Japanese garden with a traditional touch on 12 acres in the West Hills of Portland, Washington Park in Oregon. It is run by a private sector project that rented the land from the city in the 1960s. The CEO of the Portland Japanese Garden has been Stephen D. Bloom since 2005. The goal of a Japanese garden is to make people feel more peaceful and calm, at one with nature. Stone, which is like the skeleton of the water, landscape, which gives plants and other sorts of life, which are the tapestry for all four seasons, are three of the most important things used to make a garden. The right arrangement of stones, according to the Japanese garden designers, is one of the most important parts of a properly designed garden. These include things like stone lanterns, pagodas, arbors, water basins, and bridges. These gardens are not symmetrical and show nature in a more romantic way. Traditionally, everything is kept at a human scale so that people feel like they are an element of the environment instead of being overwhelmed by it. At number 9, go to the International Rose Test Garden, a rose garden in Portland, Oregon's Washington Park. There are more than 10,000 rose bushes of about 650 different kinds. Roses bloom from April to October, and depending on the weather, they are at their best in June. Roses from all over the world are sent to the garden all the time, where they are tested for things like disease resistance, bloom development, color, and scent, among other things. It is the oldest public rose test garden in the United States that is still open, and it shows why Portland is called the City of Roses. About 700,000 people visit the garden every year according to estimates. At the International Rose Test Garden, parking costs $2 per hour up to $8 per day. The Rose Garden is served by the TriMet bus Route 63 Washington Park, which runs 7 days a week. The Washington Park Shuttle is a free service that runs 7 days a week from April to October and only on weekends from November to March. It goes from the Rose Garden to the Max Light Rail Station at Washington Park. At number 8, go to the Yaquina Head, which is a point that sticks out into the Pacific Ocean north of Newport in the United States state of Oregon. The Yaquina Head Light is there, and the Bureau of Land Management takes care of it as the Yaquina Head Outstanding Natural Area. It is a part of the Natural Landscape Conservation System, which is also known as National Conservation Lands. One thing to do is hike one of the area's 5 trails, which are all less than half a mile or 0.8 kilometers long, and go near the water or through Douglas fir and Sitka spruce trees. You can also watch whales and birds, go to the Interpretation Center, and take a tour of the lighthouse. Number 7 is the High Desert Museum. You can go to the High Desert Museum in Bend, Oregon, which is in the United States. It opened in 1982 and shows the natural and cultural history of the high desert country of North America through its wildlife, culture, art, and natural resources. The museum has both indoor and outdoor displays of wildlife in settings that look like the wild, as well as traveling exhibits and living history shows. The museum has been given approval by the American Alliance of Museums. It has ties to the Smithsonian Institution as well. At number 6, go to the Cascades Raptor Facility in Eugene, Oregon. It is a nature center and wildlife hospital that specializes in rehabilitating raptors. As of November 2020, the center will have 37 different birds from 21 species living there permanently. At number 5, you should go to the Columbia River Gorge, which is a gorge in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. As the river flows west through the Cascade Range, it cuts through the canyon, which is more than 80 miles or 130 kilometers long and marks the border between Washington in the north and Oregon in the south. The water gap goes from where the Columbia River meets the Deschutes River in the east to the edge of the Portland metropolitan area in the east. It is the only way to get over the Cascades and the only way to get from the Columbia Plateau to the Pacific Ocean by water. Because of this, both sides of the gorge are crossed by Interstate 84, U.S. Route 30, Washington State Route 14, and train tracks. The Columbia River Gorge National Scenic Area is a popular place to go for fun. It is run by the Columbia River Gorge Commission and the United States Forest Service. At number 4, go to Washington Park, which is a public urban park in the United States city of Portland, Oregon. It has a zoo, a forestry museum, an arboretum, a rose garden, a Japanese garden, an amphitheater, memorials, an archery range, tennis courts, a soccer field, picnic areas, playgrounds, public art, and kilometers of path. Number 3 on our list is to visit Haystack Rock, a sea stack that stands 235 feet or 72 meters tall near Cannon Beach, Oregon. It is the third tallest structure between two tides in the world. At low tide, you can walk to the monolithic rock from the beach, which makes it a popular tourist spot on the Oregon coast. In the tide pools at Haystack Rock, you can find starfish, sea anemones, crabs, chittens, limpets, and sea slugs, among other things. A lot of seabirds, especially terns and puffins, nest on the rock. Number 2 is US 101. Don't forget to take a trip on US 101, which serves the Oregon coast and is also known as Oregon Coast Highway. US 101 is rough because it goes between the Pacific Ocean and the Oregon Coast Range for a lot of its length. Most of the way, it has 2 lanes that are separated from each other. Landslides caused by heavy rain have closed off parts of the highway, and US 101 is the only way to get between some coastal towns in many parts of the coast. So when landslides close US 101, the detour is usually to go inland over the Coast Range to the other north-south roads in the Willamette Valley, then back over the Coast Range to the west. And on number 1 is the Pittock Mansion in Portland, Oregon, United States. It is a chateau in the style of the French Renaissance. In 1914, Henry Pittock, an Oregon publisher who was born in London, and his wife, Georgiana Burton Pittock, built the mansion as their private home. It is a 46-room Tanino sandstone mansion on 46 acres or 19 hectares that is now owned by the city's Bureau of Parks and Recreation and is open for tours. Did you know that Oregon is a state in the United States? It is in the Pacific Northwest. Oregon's northern border with Washington is mostly made up of the Columbia River, while Oregon's eastern border with Idaho is mostly made up of the Snake River. Oregon is one of the most geographically diverse states in the United States. It has volcanoes, high deserts, large bodies of water, mixed and evergreen dense forests, and semi-arid shrublands. Mount Hood, which is a stratovolcano, is the state's largest mountain at 3,429 meters in height. The only national park in Oregon is called Crater Lake National Park. It is made up of the caldera that surrounds Crater Lake, which is the deepest lake in the United States. Armillaria osteii, a fungus that grows under the 2,200 acres of the Malheur National Forest, is the world's biggest living thing. That's all for today, guys. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to mention your comments below. Thank you for watching and see you next time.